All right, moving on to other news now. The Minister of Communications and Digital Technology, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, is celebrating her 100 days in office today. She says amongst her biggest achievements in office so far was the revival of the broadcast digital migration process and her success in reducing the number of court actions against her department. Ntshavheni says some of her priorities for 2022 include the corporatization of the Post Bank and helping the SABC to be exempted from the Public Finance Management Act, which currently prevents the public broadcaster to compete with private companies. Tshepo Mongoai reports.
Will the current Minister of Communications and Digital succeed where others have failed? The country's digital migration process has suffered several delays under previous communication ministers. South Africa has long missed the June 2015 deadline set by the International Telecommunications Union for completion of the process. With only 100 days in office, Minister Ntshavheni believes she's got the winning formula.
When we came in, the broadcast digital migration program had stalled. We reactivated it. We have switched off. Tomorrow we're switching off the last transmitter for Northwest as an indication of that progress. But also we have given confidence to the regulator ICASA that by the time they auction the spectrum, also the frequencies, the radio frequency spectrum will be available. But also when I came in, there were court cases after court cases around the spectrum assignment or allocation or auction, and where we are talking, the ITA it's out and there are no court actions.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has given the new communications minister the deadline of the end of March to complete the broadcast digital migration. On the SABC, Minister Ntshavheni says she's happy with the progress made by the public broadcaster on its turnaround strategy. She says government will continue to support the SABC on its TV license amnesty aimed to wipe out overdue debts. The minister says government is also assisting the broadcaster to be exempted from the Public Finance Management Act, which is preventing the public broadcaster to compete with private companies. But she has warned that government support will not come on a silver plate. Ntshavheni says government is not happy with the SABC's coverage of some of the major events in the country and on the continent.
For the support that we are giving the SABC, more especially since I took over, we are not getting the value of that support in return. So the SABC must decide whether they want to be a public broadcaster and pursue public interest, or they want to be a private broadcaster and then we can step aside and let them be on their own.
The minister says she'll be writing to the board of the SABC to formally register her concerns about the work of the SABC. Ntshavheni has cited President Cyril Ramaphosa's visit to West Africa, saying it was not covered by the broadcaster.
There have been major events in the continent that are significant. Recently, the president toured West Africa, 4 states, and the SABC was not there to cover us. So for us, the question is, and I'm formally going to write to the board.
Despite the minister's assertions, SABC News archival materials show that the president's visit to West Africa was covered on all SABC platforms. The public broadcaster was not available at the time of broadcast to respond. On access to data, the minister says she'll be going to the cabinet with a proposal for free basic data. She says the corporatization of the Post Bank will also receive her attention in the new year.
I've indicated to my boss that we may not make the target of March 2022, but definitely by the year 2022-2023, the corporatization of the Post Bank will be done. So that's the work that we are going to do in the country to make sure that the connectivity gets there.
Tshepo Mongoai, SABC News, Johannesburg.